Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tim, and welcome to Tim Talks, the show that's only partially a show, but really is just an excuse for me to talk to some of my very talented friends. I have another one here with me today. He is the beard to Ben Leonard's four eyes on the BLTTP Podcast, Conner MacDonald, also known as SamuraiCorndog. Welcome, sir.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, jeez, oh, Pete. It has been a long, cold, frigid day.
Oh my god, it's been brutally cold up here.
Yeah.
It was okay at first. Like, we were staving off winter for just a little bit. Like, a little bit of chill was coming in here and there, but for the most part it was staying warm. And then yesterday happened. And yesterday it was 18 degrees with 50 miles an hour winds.
See, now my story's going to sound a little paltry.
Yeah.
We went from like 80 to 40 overnight.
But
and
that makes sense too in being cold. Not as bad as mine, I'll say that.
No.
But like, it's one of those where like you're used to the heat. So then like that slight drop in temperature, you're like, oh my god. But
yeah. I've been keeping steady track on the weather. It's supposed to get back up to like 50 within the next day or two, which won't be quite so terrible. But God in heaven. Thankfully, I picked up this bad boy right here from the Comic-Con that I was able to work over the weekend, which kept me indoors throughout this awful freaking chill. So, and also gave me a neat scarf, which actually works really well to
cool
keep
scarves
the
are
cold
always
out.
a plus.
They really are, considering that it's also like 10 feet long. So it totally is able to wrap around twice and like tuck into a jacket and just makes this ascot of warmth.
It's the perfect kind of scarf.
Yeah. But yeah, like I worked Comic-Con over the weekend down at the Austin Convention Center, and that was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There were so many costumes. There was a guy that was playing the brown wizard from the Hobbit movie.
Oh my god, no, I know his name. What is it? It's Shadagast or
Yeah, that sounds close.
I'm so close. Close. What the hell is his name?
But anyway, I'm not a
Radagast.
huge Hobbit fan. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And so he came around, was carrying this huge staff that had like a giant deer antler on it and big horn strung across and trinkets and baubles and a bird. And I mean,
the costumes that are all out, always the best. Always great to see.
Speaking of all out, there were definitely many women who decided to let it all hang out too.
Yeah,
and
that
for
also happens.
better and for worse.
That also happens, yeah. You kind of got to roll with the punches.
I mean, Poison Ivy costumes can be very good or very bad.
Yeah, I remember
very bad.
The first time I went to New York Comic Con, I went with my girlfriend, and we would take like time each day to just kind of like sit down and take in what we were doing and like kind of take stock. And we had always found this perfect spot that like everybody would walk by but nobody stopped at. So it was one of those perfect spots where like you didn't have a lot of people around you, even though like they were all moving by.
Right.
And you got to see everything. You got to see all the good costumes and all the bad costumes.
I love doing that. That's so much fun.
It was like that perfect mixture of like, oh man, that's a really good Flash. Oh, that's a really bad Flash. Ooh. Like, that's just both sides of it were walking by you. It was great. It was awesome.
There was a guy dressed up as Thor, and he was like 32 and completely jacked and natural blonde hair that was down to his shoulder. I mean, Thor.
Yeah.
And he took great pleasure in just walking up and down the line and taking pictures with all the little 5 and 6 year olds that were like,
yeah.
And it makes your heart just thrum with joy.
Oh, yeah.
It really does. Seeing that, it kind of revitalizes your faith in humanity a little bit.
It's always nice. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen, like, anybody who's cosplayed kind of snub anybody, which is... I feel good being able to say that I've never seen anybody just be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, not right now.
I mean, part of it is, like, they're wearing that costume...
Oh yeah,
for the purpose of being noticed.
You're a walking booth, basically. Like,
yeah,
you put on that costume.
And like, if you see a Master Chief with his helmet off and he's like obviously trying to wolf down a sub real quick,
Yeah.
You might not want to bother him for a picture at that moment. But if he's walking around with gun in hand and, full regalia, then by all means, bother him for a Polaroid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what he loves.
A Polaroid. Dude,
I took this amazing picture at RTX, incidentally, of a Caboose and a donut that were a boyfriend and girlfriend couple, I think. And the girl was in the Caboose outfit. No, I'm sorry. The girl was in the donut outfit. The boy's in the Caboose outfit. And, like, the donut gives me this hard look, when I take the picture, and the Caboose just, like, kicks his leg up.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Dude, I miss Polaroid cameras. Those, I loved my Polaroid camera. Like,
sad thing is, there's going to come a time very soon where people won't get that reference.
Right? I think that time is pretty much now. Like, if I said Polaroid camera to my little brother, who is only 10 years younger than I am, he would have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's scary. Especially since he's in a lot of those.
Again. We need Outcast to bring it back again.
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, those things were just awesome. Like, it was like this extra... I guess we kind of do the same thing with pictures nowadays. And, like the Polaroid, you used to, like, take it, and then everybody would crowd around and look at it, give or take the few seconds. But I guess we kind of do that with phones, don't we? Like, you take the couple of pictures, and then everybody, like, looks, and you put it away.
Yeah, and the couple of seconds it usually takes to develop is the couple of seconds it takes...
Yeah.
Wow, couple of seconds it takes for the phone to load.
To be like, hold on, let me flip it. Wait. A filter.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or Photoshop, whatever it is that you do with your pictures.
Let me crop this 8 times. Hold on.
Let me buff up my biceps real quick.
Let me just.
Hey now, ladies.
Oh, sorry.
So, getting back onto an actual topic here. So, as I said earlier, you're one of the co-hosts over there at the BLTTP Podcast.
That is true.
We just recently got Ben's point of view on how it happened, but what's your side? I'm interested in your side. Tell me your side.
My side's the truth, because Ben is a habitual liar.
Oh, really?
Fun fact. Yeah. Everything.
Breaking story.
Yeah. So everything that he's ever said. He's probably said a lot of good things, but none come to mind, so I'm gonna stick with this. I don't know what he said, and even if I did know what he said, I would disagree with it. It was
of course, just out of habit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the way it happened, remember, was we had been talking more and more because we had met at PAX East, 2-3 years ago now. That feels weird to say. And we had talked a lot, and we ended up, like, rooming together at RTX. And then in the beginning of last year, or right around August and September, he was talking to me about he wanted to do a podcast, and he had done one before, so he kind of knew how to do it and everything. And I was like, oh yeah, sounds like a good time. A friend and I had been talking about doing it, so the interest was there. And he had me on, and I think we talked about, like, Star Wars movies and stuff like that, and
the usual nerd topics.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was just a good time. We had, it worked. And like a few days later, he was like, yeah, I think we should have you on again. We should, like, talk about this because we didn't talk about this, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, one way or another, it stopped being like, do you want to be on? Like, we can record at this time, to how about we just record on Sunday? And, like, within a couple of weeks, it slowly became like, we were there. Like, it was us doing it over and over again, and it wasn't really a question.
You became the people that Ben Leonard was talking to.
Yeah, in a sense.
It sort of turned into an inside joke, and when it started out kind of in earnest.
Yeah, and then we changed the name, but whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to do a little bit of rebranding because the focus of things can change.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what happened. Originally he was going to try and have somebody different on every week or whatever, and then one way or another, it was just like, yeah, I'll just have you on. And then after a few weeks, it was like, maybe I should change the name. I was like, and then, here we are today.
That's one of the things I love about the way I'm able to run my channel, because I love alliteration so much. I was able to just use my name.
Yeah.
And my name begins with T, which is a rather common name, which means there are a lot of verbs that begin with T. And so that means I can do like Tim tries and Tim teaches and Tim talks and Tim tortures and Tim pistulates and, you know, just whatever other words I can come up with.
Yeah, all great words too. So, you know.
Yeah. And then all of the different variations on that thereof. I can do Tim talks like this, or Tim talks about whatever topic I happen to think is interesting, whatever technology's coming out. The 3D video that I did a while ago. You know, it's very interesting way to keep my options open. I like being able to do anything that I want on the fly.
Yeah, I mean,
which I already can, but I can do that without losing the moniker pattern.
Yeah, that's true.
That I love so much.
You can keep all the napkins that you have engraved and everything. Can you engrave napkins? Embroider. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
You engrave napkin holders.
Yes.
The napkin ring.
Or you can engrave napkins. You can't really use them after that, but I mean, you know.
Yeah.
We could try.
So speaking of YouTube, the Ben Leonard Talks People, well, BLTTP, excuse me, is not the only thing that you do. You also have a YouTube channel.
This is very true.
It's youtube.com/
Corndog of Humor.
Corndog of Humor.
It's
of course you'll find a link to that down there.
It's an old YouTube handle. God, it would have been 6 or 7 years ago that I made that thing, something like that.
Wow.
Long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so there are a whole bunch of little like student project films on there, you know, things shot by a couple of high school kids, like the interview with Michael Houle.
Yeah, that's the first.
God, I said that right. Mispronouncing names is my thing.
Yeah, well, it's a habit one can get into. Yeah, I used to go in high school when I created the YouTube channel. I used to go to a tech school. I did it for the last 2 years of high school. Me and about like a dozen other kids would get on a bus about halfway through the day, and we'd go off to another school, and we all had different classes that we went to, and mine was specialized in like digital media and that stuff. So like the first year, I had primarily learned about like Photoshop and like Illustrator and Flash, and then the second year I learned a lot about film and like all the different elements of that, and the second half of that year I think was like HTML and like website building and stuff. Then I completely forgot all of it when I left high school, and I've had to reteach myself all of it. But that's neither here nor there.
I love how high school is like the only period of time that just drains away. Like I have memories from when I was like 5 and 6 years old that are as vivid as the day they happened.
Oh yeah.
And yet high school is a blur.
Oh yeah. And it wasn't even that like I didn't care. I did care about it. Yeah. It was just in the sense that I was like, this is just cool stuff to learn. And I didn't really have like anything, like I didn't have any of those programs on my computer at my house or anything.
Or a practical application with which to continue learning and progressing and getting better and using it. Because there are some things people are born with. There are some people that if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah. And I just, at the time I was like, yeah, this is all cool, but I can't really use it right now. I forgot. Yeah. And then, 3 or 4 years later when I'm in college, I'm like, hey, these are all things that I like. Why don't I remember how to do any of it? But, So, yeah.
I mean, did they teach you, like, any editing, Premiere, anything like that as well?
Oh,
wow.
I used Audacity. I used Premiere, like, for the cutting edge Photoshop at the time, like all these things. Like I used Dreamweaver to build HTML and stuff that now I have to pay to use. I'm scouring YouTube
stuff that now, if you have that knowledge now, you are suddenly much more marketable.
Oh yeah, it's like now I'm scouring YouTube for Premiere like tutorials and stuff, and I'm like, I know I learned how to like centralize one color, but I have no idea how to do it anymore. It's completely gone in my mind.
There is a website that has a video series that I enjoy very much that actually helped teach me a little bit in the beginning. There's lynda.com, Lynda.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
I enjoyed them greatly. By the way, shout out to them. Give me money.
yeah.
And yeah, it was really great. It actually taught me the basics that I needed to use to get everything that I do off the ground.
Yeah.
And then I was able to kind of have enough of a base knowledge that just going and playing with the software, I was able to start reverse engineering things and figuring things out.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing too.
And they have one on Premiere and After Effects and Photoshop and bloody well everything in the Adobe suite.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah,
and probably other stuff too.
Yeah, I did that project, the interview thing, completely on a whim. Actually, it was the assignment was kind of an end of the year project, and it was an interview. You had to pick a topic or whatever and just film it and edit it all together. It was just to show basic understanding of all the different things that we had, and so I was kind of watching everybody do it, and it was a lot of like, oh, here I interviewed 3 people about what kind of music they like and stuff, and I was like, that's not really my thing. Like, I don't know how I want to do it, but I want to do something. And then I ended up skipping class one day, so instead of getting on the bus, I just stayed at school, and I had my camera and everything, and I just followed my friends around through their classes, and luckily they didn't, like, I think there was like substitutes that day and stuff like that. Like, all the stars just aligned for us. And with no script, no idea of how we were going to do it, we just, in the course of like 2.5 hours, we shot all of it, and I went and edited it the next week, and
oh wow,
it's still one of my favorite things that I've ever done. It's great.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, because I really enjoyed the way it kind of layers over itself. Especially like in the beginning when he's talking to the camera and he's like, yeah, I've got a whole bunch of friends, everybody likes me, and it cuts to the one guy and he says the one thing and it cuts back to it and he says some more stuff and it cuts back to all like the whole group of girls and they're like,
yeah.
It's
the weird
really
part was
funny.
That the teachers were the weird part was that the teachers were so gung ho for it. I mean, they were in on it, but like. It was just kind of funny that I walked up to like one of them. One teacher was very hesitant, and I was like, no, like it's all good fun. We were like, yeah, no, it's totally fine. Like I got the kid that it's like the mic that it's all about. He was like, no, it's totally fine and everything. And then I was walking down the hallway and we bumped into another teacher and I was like, do you want to shove him on film? And she was like, yeah. And it was like, oh, all right, well I'll just hold the camera and you go ahead and do your thing then, I guess. But.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
And now we're going to shoot the film.
Yeah, and then we made $10,000 and,
Oh, goodness. And so there are a whole bunch of other stuff on there, too, besides just that.
Yeah.
There's, I think the next video is the dubstep video, which is the way I begin every morning. And then there's the apartment tour.
Yeah, it's funny. Those two are oddly related in the sense that last year I had started... I had a really, really good film class that was kind of like it's sort of just like a free reign film class. Like we got together the first couple of weeks and the teacher was like, okay, like we're gonna split you up into groups and stuff, but we're gonna do it as like everybody pitches an idea for like a film or like a series of shorts or something like that, and then you guys are gonna decide and we're gonna kind of break you up. And I got in on this project that we wanted to do a sort of like Anchorman, I guess, so like a spoof news show or like The Onion or something like that. And we wanted to do like almost like a weekly thing. And so I ended up getting in with a small group of guys and a girl that we started doing that kind of stuff. And I was getting way, way more into like filming and being like, oh, I really love doing this stuff. Like I should do it a lot more. And that kind of led me into the apartment tour thing. And that was one of those moments where it was like, I have the means. Why don't I just do something? And I think at the time, everybody was badgering Ray for his apartment tour video because he had been promising it for a while and he hadn't yet put it out. And I was like, well, I could do that and I could make it funny and why the hell not? And so like in 10 minutes,
that sounds simple.
Oh yeah. One of those. But But no, like that's
famous last words type ordeal.
Yeah, I've been dead for 2 years. But yeah, that was just something.
What a twist!
Another moment.
It's interesting. You're able to make some stuff that is obviously able to make you laugh. I mean, it's clearly stuff that's surrounding your own personal style. It's not made to kind of tend to the crowd, the mass version of what's funny, you know, and I like that. I mean, is that about right?
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where I see a lot of like, I mean, I consume a lot of YouTube media and stuff like that, and so you know I do see the trends, you know, of like right now Let's Plays they're crazy, they're completely off the chain, and it's one of those things where it would be really easy for me to just like sit down and film a Let's Play, but I don't think it's not that I think it would be bad or that it would be like oversaturating or anything like that. It's just that I don't think that's particularly something that I would like to do, just because me blandly talking over a game, whereas it can totally work for other people, like it can work for anybody. I don't like that because it's almost like I have to wait for a situation, like I have to wait for that situational humor of like you know, I'm playing a game and it's like some guy says, "Hey, get off your bike," and I gotta be like, "You get off your bike," you know? It's like, yeah, some people can play off of that.
I know what you mean.
I can't. So
dual commentaries are a little bit better for doing stuff like that. And quite frankly, I've always kind of felt that Let's Play content is rather filler stuff. And I have it on my channel. But it's good to have stuff to put out in between bigger stuff, you know, absolutely. While I'm making the Indie Friday videos and the Guild Wars 2 videos and this and all the other bigger stuff that I'm trying to make.
Right.
It's really good to just have something to put out in the interim that is fun for me to make, because I get to just sit there and play the game and have a good old time doing it. And sometimes it's a lot of fun to make with other people. Like a little bit of a breaking story. You, me, James, and Ben Leonard here shortly are going to do a Worms Revolution Let's Play.
Pretty excited.
Just for the heck of it.
Actually, that's good. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It really is, because I've got the game type set to where all the weapons come out at appropriate times, but all the weapons will come out, and we'll have like 5 holy hand grenades. It's going to be destruction.
Yeah, but it's like you said, it's one of those things where you know, it's nice to have stuff, and I mean, like I said, I don't think it particularly suits my style, but I mean, I've tried it. I have some stuff on my computer that I've been sitting on, and I have some other ideas for like my own kind of Let's Plays. You know, it would be something similar, but not as much as like the mainstream. And that sounds weird or whatever, but like, you know, my own spin on it.
That's the key to it. That's the key to it, though, is making something that you're comfortable with, that you think is something that you would want to watch. And if the market is oversaturated in regular Let's Plays, you have to figure out some way to put your own personal spin on it that makes it different from everyone else, so that it stands out a little bit. And if that means, you know, that no one was doing editing in over the gameplay until Game Grumps and Barry started doing it there. No one were doing the name titles in the top corner of the Let's Play video until Rooster Teeth started doing it in their Let's Plays, and now those grave-ins are everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know, people are able to start setting trends when you start thinking, well, what could a Let's Play use?
Yeah.
How could the whole format of a Let's Play be consumed easier or better?
And it's one of those things where, like, the way I look at it is, like, I can't honestly say how most Let's Players like look at it, because I mean I can only say from my outside standpoint of like, let's play this game and like, you know, we'll just say some funny stuff over it. But I try to look at it as like, here are the games I have. What can I do in these games that are funny? You know, like I have, I don't know, what the hell do I have here? I have
that only you could do.
Yeah,
that's the important thing.
And it's like I have Halo sitting there, and it's like, well, Halo's been done to death. Well, I'm sure I could think of something. And if I can think of it, sure, somebody else has thought of it, but like, I can definitely do it in a way that'll make somebody laugh, you know, even if it's just me. You know, that's a possibility too.
And no one would fault you for that, because eventually there's going to be someone who has a sense of humor similar to you. If it's not right now, then maybe when you get a little bit more popular, one of the next 500 subscribers could go back and watch that video and think it's the best thing ever, share it to 2 other people, and it suddenly hits a community that explodes.
Oh yeah, happens all the time.
It really does.
Yeah.
So as long as you kind of keep plugging away and keep making things that you're happy with and keep putting out things on a regular basis and interacting with your crowd and listening to their feedback and just trying the best that you can, the only place you can go is up.
That's true. It really is.
I mean, you might never be able to be a Polaris or a Nerdist or a Crash Course or a whatever, but you might just be a peanut butter gamer or a,
I'm cool with that. You know,
or a Continue show or a
you know.
So I mean, just don't give up.
Oh no, not at
Never
all.
Surrender. Trust your instincts.
Dude, Galaxy Quest.
Everything that Fox McCloud's dad says at the end of Star Fox.
All that, whatever. A motivational crap he says. Stick with it.
And so one of the other things that you are on that YouTube channel that you did recently is the Extra Life video.
Yes.
Where you were participating in the Extra Life 2013 run and raised a good amount of money for charity. Extra Life, for those who don't know, is a charity that raises money to go to children's hospitals and places that are able to give these children electronic devices to play with and to just kind of raise their spirits and help enhance the healing.
Yeah,
and
very noble cause. Very noble.
Absolutely so.
Yeah.
And so you were, when was that?
That was 2 weeks ago. It was the first, the first couple of days in November, I think.
We're very timely here. Too.
Yeah.
And so that was you and Dylon.
Yeah.
Another one of my guests.
Yeah, it was the two of us had decided, a few months ago, we were just kicking around talking about whatever, and one way or another we talked about Extra Life, and we had talked about playing like Pokemon and stuff, and we were like, well, if we're gonna do that, why don't we just do it for Extra Life? Why don't we make it into like one of those kind of events? And it just kind of snowballed from there. And
it snowballed into 2 brilliant trailers is what it snowballed into.
Those trailers, I'm so happy they came out the way they did, because we made them...
You and the rest of the internet.
Thank you. I had the idea to put out like a kind of like almost a reminder trailer less than a week before Extra Life. So on like a Saturday or Sunday night, I had just texted him and I was like, hey, do you want to make like a quick trailer for our Extra Life stream, sort of to remind everybody when it is and like what time it is and all that stuff? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we each like wrote up our own scripts and like kind of send it to each other, like, here's what I want you to film for my video, and here's what you can do for me, and blah blah blah. And
right,
I think in the course of like 2 or 3 days we like recorded and transferred the files and edited each video down, and it was an ungodly amount of work to put through like in that short amount of time. But I mean, I love them both. I think they came out great.
They really did. And you always enjoy videos that kind of complement each other, because they are 2 different videos, and it very much reminds me of the Game Grumps announcement video way back when that channel first started, you kind of had 2 versions of the same video. Obviously, you and Dylon couldn't be in the same room, but the way you kind of make that illusion come together is just spot on.
Yeah, thanks.
And so you weren't able to do 24 hours because that's for pussies.
True, absolutely true. Yeah,
you did a full 25.
Yeah, we did. It was because originally the day that Extra Life was on was daylight savings time. So everybody that did it from that Saturday into the Sunday ended up going for 25 hours because of the clock shift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't know why I never put that together that I was on the same weekend.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't at first. Like, everybody was like, "Oh, they're just gonna go for 25 hours," and then like as it came closer, it was like, "Oh, they have to go for 25 hours." Okay, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly.
But the way our scheduling worked out, or more specifically my scheduling, I wasn't going to be able to do it like that week, and I had something to do on like a Sunday or so. I had work, is what it was. So if we had done it that weekend, we would have streamed for 25 hours. I would have driven for 2 hours to come back up to school, and then worked a 10.5-hour shift, so I could go to bed for 5 hours to get up and work. And it was just like, I don't want death. So if we could do it like one day earlier, it would be fantastic. And so that's what we ended up doing. And we were kind of debating it back and forth as like that week went on, of like, do we do the 25 hours? Do we not do the 25 hours? And then like right before we streamed, we were like, we said we were going to do 25. I mean, if worst comes to worst, we can, you know, if we get to that 24th hour and we're both like completely laid out, we'll just call it or whatever. But
Yeah.
it ended up
No, I don't think anyone would fault you at that point.
No.
But I mean, you know, you set a goal, you followed through with it.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, I'm sure it wasn't quite as hard as you thought it was going to be.
It was a little tough, but I mean, hell, I'd do it again. You know, it wasn't bad enough for me to be like, oh no, thank you. Like, you know,
one of my favorite marathon streams like that is Mario Marathon, which does it for Child's Play.
Yeah.
Which is another charity, much like Extra Life, that does the video games for children's hospitals.
Yeah.
And they do theirs for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's intense.
Yeah.
And they have like a team of like 6 people that rotate in and out. And I say team, it's like a bunch of guys and their wives.
Yeah. I don't know if I could go for 3 days. The 24 hours was good, but
yeah.
Let's leave that for now.
And they play through every Mario game from Mario 1 to whatever Wii U game has been released.
Dude, that's rough. That is a rough gauntlet. It'd be like saying I'm gonna do a 3-day stream and play through all the Zelda games. It's like, that's cool, but
that happens. That happens actually. There is a stream that does that.
I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that. Not so much the days. Like, I'm sure insanity would set in and I could last. It's a certain point where, like, in a color like that, where you're just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't.
Well, then you got like Desert Bus.
Yeah.
That just plays that portion of the Penn and Teller game for ever until they lose or quit getting donations, and it's the things people will do for charity. You love it. You love it. It just warms my heart.
Yeah.
And so, how successful were you?
We were. I mean, we were doubly successful, I'd say, just about, because we had originally set out when we were coming up with the pages and getting together all the details. We each thought, like, let's do like $250 each. Mm-hmm. So then combined, because we were streaming together and everything, we'll have raised about $500. And when we were putting the pages together and stuff, I said, you know what? Let's not. If 250 is our goal, let's set the bar higher. So that way, like, if we hit it, we hit it. You know, if we go over, that's awesome. And if we go under, you know, we go under, we go under. And so we each set our goals at 500. I set mine at 507 because I wanted to be more than him. Small detail, but yeah. And in the end, I raised, I think my final count was $865, and he had raised like $780. Wow. Something like that. Yeah, it was. Not only did we reach our goals, but we went like above and beyond, and
that's
just like
incredible.
Yeah, I'm still kind of in awe about it, especially like, not only because of how generous people were, you know, with their donating and everything, but like, I mean, not to sell ourselves short of, like, you know, people that enjoy watching us or anything like that, but I mean, Rooster Teeth and stuff were the next day, you know, so it was one of those things where it's like if you don't donate, like, to me, I don't care. Like, if you're donating, you're donating, but like, I understand that, like, you know, that whole crew is going to be tomorrow. So if you want to save your cash, like, totally cool. But the fact that they so generously donated to us.
I mean, you were able to get $1,600. That is not nothing. That is so not nothing.
That is a decent amount of money.
That is so not nothing that it warrants doing again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it does. Yeah. It was incredible.
I mean, you gotta love stuff like that, because it can only get bigger. I mean, the next year you get someone else to join your team and make it a threesome, and then the following year after that you add in another person. I mean, you know, it just eventually can become this giant event that you can build a whole thing around.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a lot of fun and is for a great cause, and I mean, can do some real good in the world to reduce world suck, for lack of a better expression.
Absolutely. And it was one of those things where it was just like, you know, here I am, I'm just sitting here playing Pokemon for a day straight, and I raised all this money for kids, you know, and it was one of those things where after waking up from my coma, the next day it was like I raised over $800 for doing what I would have done on a Saturday anyway. You know, it was just like one of those things.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that it was just like, why would I?
Congratulations.
Yeah, why would I not do this? Why would I not do it again? Why would I not ask more people to do it? You know.
Without fail.
Yeah.
And so you weren't playing Pokemon normally. You were doing a Nuzlocke run.
Yeah, we had decided at first we were talking about playing Pokemon and like maybe switching around and playing like different games as the stream went on, but eventually we had decided we both like Pro Jared. I don't know if you watch him on YouTube or anything like that, but
yeah, I've seen him before.
Yeah, for those who don't know, he's a very funny guy, does some reviews and stuff like that. I definitely recommend that you check him out. But he does a Pokemon Nuzlocke challenge, or he did one in Fire Red, which was the game that we had decided to play. And we were both like, yeah, why don't we do it? I mean, you know, it's a 25-hour thing. Like,
sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, a Nuzlocke is basically Pokemon hard mode. It consists of, I guess, two main rules, and one of them being you can only catch one Pokemon per area, which is, you know, very contrary to the whole mechanic of the game of catching every Pokemon that you see.
Well, catching them all.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the game, if you go by that main rule of like you can only catch one Pokemon per area, I think the most you can catch is right around like 40 or so, I think, which in the grand scheme of amount of Pokemon, is not a whole hell of a lot.
No, it really isn't.
And no, it's not. And
especially considering the high likelihood of getting repeats.
Yeah, well, we had our own rule that you could set in place. There's like a Wikipedia page. There's a whole list of rules that people have created and like used here and there. And one of the ones that we had thrown in was if we had run into a repeat just for the sake of, you know, entertainment and for the sake of like our sanity and stuff, we would kind of call that a mulligan. Like if I ran into one that I had already seen, it was like, get out of here, like let's try this again.
Yeah.
But the other main rule that kind of like destroys the whole way that the game is meant to be played, since it is pretty much a classic RPG. Instead of being able to heal your team of Pokemon at any given moment using like revives or bringing them to like a center for healing, if a Pokemon dies or faints, as it does in the game, it's considered dead, and so you can no longer use it, and it is dead to you. Like if that Pokemon faints in battle, it's all of its HP disappear. That Pokemon is not coming back no matter what.
And you only get 40 shots at that too.
Which sounds like a lot. Let me tell you something. When you catch a Pokemon within the first 10 minutes of the game, and one of the other rules we implied was that you have to name it. Each Pokemon you catch, you got to name. Oh. So when you catch something and you name it and you're training it and it's getting better and it's winning you battles and stuff, and you're like, oh man, I love this guy. This thing is awesome. And then it dies. Not only do you hate what had just happened, but it's just knowing that it's mostly your fault. Like in some way,
and it hurts.
Oh, in some way, like you could have prevented this, and you're just like, no.
Well, that's part of the terrible part of the human affliction, man. I mean, it's the fact that I can pick up this pen over here and name it Steve and do that.
Yeah, and then
you go, oh, Steve.
Yeah, why would you do that, Steve?
And God,
but
heaven,
it's so much harder to play it that way.
It sounds like it. It sounds like just torture. Well, torture for the sake of charity, which is the best kind of torture, really. And quite frankly, if not, why I'm not surprised you raised quite a good amount of money.
Yeah. It was interesting just in the sense that it is a really, I find it to be a really fun way to play the game, because I mean I've been playing Pokemon my whole life, you know, so it's to play it in a different way, in a way more hardcore way that actually makes you like stop and think like, wait, like I can't just like bulldoze through this area. Like, I got to strategize and like actually think about all this stuff. It was
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, anytime you're able to give a new way to play an old classic.
Yeah.
Anytime you have an excuse to go back to an old classic, for Christ's sakes, it
Yeah.
doesn't even have to be great. I mean, look at Fire Red. At first, it was kind of like, well, and then people started getting into it and being like, no, it's actually a little bit better than Red was. It kind of gives you a couple of new things in here, and updates the title and gets it up to par, and is actually a worthwhile way to revisit, quite frankly, the best generation.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's my favorite Pokemon game, but
And so that makes it even harder because the Pokemon you were losing weren't like, the crappy other
Those
ones.
were the originals. Those are the ones that when I was in elementary school, it was like, I love these things. They're great. And, no matter how many new Pokemon came out, it was always like, yeah, but these guys are great. Like,
I was playing like the
GameCube
or the Game Boy versions back in like 7th grade and stuff like that. And then the card games came out.
Yeah.
When I was in like 8th grade, and that's when it blew the balls up. Like even the class bully had his Pokemon deck, and it was, God, not surprisingly, an Earth deck.
Of course.
I remember it very vividly because I got a water deck for my birthday that should have kicked his butt.
Yeah.
But some kid was jealous that I got it, and at my birthday party, ripped my shiny Gyarados card in half.
Would have disowned that kid, murdered him on the spot. That's blasphemy. I'm pretty sure the lethal injection is allowed on that. Like, that is like a crime against the Geneva Convention.
My blue eye.
Right.
And so I was crushed.
It was,
I mean, there was nothing I could do. Even kicking this kid's ass would not have brought back that Gyarados card.
No.
And, oh my God, I was devastated. And so I was never able to be good at the card game because my parents were cheap and I never had any money of my own. So I couldn't, get more cards or anything like that.
It happens.
Oh my God. So all I had was the Game Boy game, and I destroyed.
Yeah, it was I will say the whole of the run went a little bit easier for me than it did for Dylon, because he it would have been about halfway through our stream, maybe a little more than halfway. He got swept. One of the gym leaders completely wiped his team, and in a Nuzlocke, that's a game over. So yeah, like right in the middle of our powering through this game, he had to completely start the game from scratch. And, it was brutal to watch. It was brutal. Meanwhile,
that's painful.
Meanwhile, I just lost every part of my soul bit by bit. Like for him, it was a clean sweep. It was like boom. All right, I wasn't that far in. You know what? I'll restart. For me, it was like you get 40 levels in on this Pokemon. I've had it for about 12 hours, and then it dies. And a part of me dies with it.
This is what it's like when doves cry.
Oh, God. There was a moment. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning, where I lost a Pokemon that I had for the majority of the game, just because of a stupid sleepy mistake. I meant to click something else, but my eyes were kind of shutting, and all of a sudden I look up and I watch its health go down, and I'm like, what? Whoa! No! And it was just I was pissed. There was an hour period of that stream where I was completely ripshit. I was just
I mean, just hearing that, my stomach just sank.
Yeah, it was.
And so that's fantastic. You already raise a great amount of money for charity, and do awesome things. What you got coming up here on the channel as we're kind of starting to wind things down?
Yeah, I just put out a video less than a week ago. That was kind of I called it a choose your own adventure, and it was it was kind of a video asking the people what they wanted to see of me, because I do have a lot of stuff that I have filmed, because I've been promising videos for a while, and work has got the better of me and school has got the better of me, but
trust me, you're not alone.
Yeah, I'm very much aware, but yeah, so I kind of put this out as a questionnaire of sorts, just here's some of the things that I have. What would everybody like to see from me first? Because It's one of those things where I'm looking at all the stuff I got and I'm like, I don't know where to start. So I kind of gave it.
And viewer's choice is always fun.
Yeah, and it's if they say like they want this more than this, it's like, oh well, maybe I could put this project on the side and work more on this. And so I gave a couple of choices in the video of like live action stuff because I have done that's primarily what's on my channel.
Right.
And so I have a bunch of ideas and like some recorded footage and stuff for that. I have a failed Pokemon Nuzlocke run that I had recorded, and it had just been sitting on my computer because it was like I failed it, which was I knew it was funny and I know it will be funny, but at the same time it was like, is it funny enough to like warrant editing it all together?
Well, I mean, knowing that you're going to be doomed to fail means that watching you get your hopes up is going to be even better.
Yeah.
That's the definition of tragedy.
That's true. So yeah, that was another option. And then I kind of had like that general, like I've been playing a lot of Steam games as of late, and so I kind of left that open of like, do you guys want to see me like talk over a Steam game? Like like I have all these different Steam games. If you want to see me rip my hair out playing something really hard, or like go insane playing something like the Stanley Parable or something like that, it's like, yeah, I'm all about it. Like, just let me know what you guys want.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And so we're kind of expecting something like that. You get any good results back?
Yeah, like a lot of people said they wanted to see some live action stuff, which is good because I've been wanting to film some live action stuff, and I'm actually getting together some people right now and writing up a couple of scripts and stuff. So it shouldn't be that long in the future. Yeah.
Well, there'll be a link to that down in the description as well, and we've been watching it for a couple seconds in the corner. And so go vote on that, and go vote on that now, so that way you can have some good feedback, man.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas of something you'd like me to see, just let me know. I'm pretty open for stuff, so as long.
And so we're coming to the end of our program here, and I've always enjoyed the Inside the Actor Studios method of ending on a questionnaire. So I too have a reappropriated version of the Proust questionnaire, and it goes a little bit something like this. Connor, what's your favorite word?
I'm really partial to the word fantastic. Without knowing it, I say it a lot more than I usually realize. Yeah. But I would say that my favorite word is rad or radical. I say that word a lot, and
unironically.
Yeah, it's just a happy word, man. It's
so brave.
There's no way that you can say rad and not have a smile or be like in a good mood. Like, you can't be mad and be like rad. Like, I can't even pretend to be mad and say that word.
Thankfully, because I'm not from anywhere close to the Northeast, I can get away with saying stuff like wicked.
Yeah.
And have it be not looked at funny and just sounds like, I'm trying to be hipster. And so, what's your least favorite word?
I hate the C word, and I just
so much so that you'll refer to it here as the C word.
Yeah,
I won't even say it.
I won't say it. I know I've said it.
The word that shall not be spoke.
Yeah, I know I've said it less than 3 times in my entire life, and it's one of the few words that I've actually counted the amount of times that I've said it.
Yeah. And so, what would be your superpower?
All right, you're in for this. You asked. So I'm a huge nerd. And I think about superpowers and stuff like that a lot. So I have 2 different answers, and one of them has 2 different answers.
Okay,
so 3 answers.
Buckling in.
Yeah. So
let's go.
Impractically, there's 2 ways this can go. There is the complete impractical. I just have a superpower, nobody else does. I'm kicking ass. I'd go like electricity's route, like a white static shock sort of deal. I don't know. That kind of stuff has always interested me, of like the electricity and that kind of like power and stuff like that. And so
like Infamous.
Yeah, but like not lame.
Oh, gotcha. Never mind. Yeah. Fair enough. A white static shock.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a good description. I could do good with dreads, but so yeah, there's that.
Sorry, I just got lost in the dreaminess there for a second.
Yeah, of the dreads. Well.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. The other one, in that same vein, is if there are other people with superpowers in the world, I would absolutely be like a human sponge, sort of like roguish character, where I could absorb and kind of like the buffet of superpowers is open exclusively to me. So if I see somebody that's got super strength, I just go over tap that guy on the shoulder. That one's in my repertoire. If I want to bust that one out at any given point, it's like the god power, more or less.
Yeah.
But like pulled.
You basically have the debug console enabled.
Yeah, in a sense. Yeah, I don't know. I always kind of like that, where it's like your options.
I can dig it.
Yeah. And then a practical superpower, the final one. I would have a cloning ability akin to like a Naruto style cloning ability. Just because I could get so much more shit done in a day.
Right?
Oh my god.
Right.
Oh my god. Like
right. If I did not have to sleep and or eat, or had 36 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Do you know how much more I would get done? Oh my god.
Well, it's like the way I envision the superpower working is not just cloning, but it's like you retain all of that information and all that muscle that happens. So it's like I'm sitting here talking to you right now, but I got another clone over there that's like reading a book I've been meaning to read. And then I got another clone that's over in the corner that's like strumming on the guitar and like learning how to play a new song.
It's also very Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah. And then, at the end of the night, it's like, all right, it's time for bed. We all come back together, and it's like, I remember this conversation. I remember that book we read. I know how to play a new song on the guitar.
That's not the way I expected that night to end. Very unsexy.
Well, if you're referring me to Dr. Manhattan, then I think you wanted this night to end with like another 9 inches and be a little bluer, but,
And so, what would be your super weakness?
My super weakness. I don't like what would I be super weak against? I would be my kryptonite would be like just like ultimate like uncurable sadness would absolutely kill me. It would. That sounds really sappy, but I don't care. Gosh darn it.
Aww.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. If there was some sadness going on and I was not able to like in any way clear that up, it would lay me out.
Just some cloud that follows a guy all day.
Oh, it'd be the worst.
Just like in the commercials.
It would be my sole duty to make sure that I could like fix that. Yeah.
You could cheer him up by saying duty.
And that's the key.
And so, what sound or noise do you love?
I enjoy laughter. I feel like that's kind of a cop-out answer, but like...
we'll take it.
Yeah, I know. That's one of my favorites. There's something about that feeling of... Especially like laughter that I've caused. I really like that sound. Like, and it seems weird, but like, you can tell the difference. Like, there's laughter, and then there's like... that laughter that like you created.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And it's much more earnest and kind of from a deep place. And it's very revitalizing.
Yeah.
I can dig it. What sound or noise do you hate?
Those like all of those noises that like are classic like cartoon cliches come to mind. Like nails on a chalkboard and stuff. Nails on a chalkboard isn't like that up there, but like it's on the list. Like like styrofoam rubbing together.
Oh yeah. Or like a fork on a plate.
Oh, dude.
That
there's a distinct sound to somebody chewing tinfoil. And not only does it like annoy me, but it hurts. It's one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get the phantom pains, and it's like, oh, I hurt for you. Why don't you hurt like I do?
The worst. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So what advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
Oh, man. Pay attention in school, you idiot. Yeah, just that. Or that and, like, get a job.
Well, I think telling them to retain what you learned in high school would probably be pretty good
Yeah,
advice,
yeah.
as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, right around there would be great. Be like, hey, how about you save a couple of bucks every week instead of going to the movies every night? You know?
What superhero or supervillain do you identify with the most?
Ooh, the and or here. That's interesting.
Switching it up a little bit.
Oh, I like it. Avoiding the question for a split second. Your video hasn't moved for me in a little while.
Is it moving now?
No.
Sorry about that, folks. A little glitch somewhere. Yeah, I was asking you about your hero or heroine you identify with the most.
Wonder Woman. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Hero and villain. Excuse me, not hero and heroine. Change it. Yeah.
Because I'm all about heroin. I'd say definitely a villain. I'd have to go with Venom for the Spider-Man villain, which sounds a little sinister and insane, but I don't know. On like some weird deep level, I identify with like the struggles and the trials and tribulations of that character.
Yeah. The sort of outside struggle of him versus the symbiote versus the inside struggle of whether he really wants to fight in the first place.
Yeah.
I like it. It's very poetic.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite curse word?
Like, fuck is just easy. Like, it just happens in conversations, you know, like people just say it, it slides in and out so easily. It's really, really versatile. You know, it could be its own word. It could be a prefix. It could punctuate a sentence.
Right.
I really like a good damn. Damn is just like a simple, like
I can respect that.
It's like the farmer's curse word. You know, it's like it's accepted everywhere. You know, and it's just like, damn.
I like a good multisyllabic damn too.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
yeah. It's a good one.
So where would you one day like to live?
Someplace that doesn't know what the word snow is.
I imagine so.
Yeah, I something like Florida or Texas, or I've always been fascinated by the state of Montana. And I'm pretty sure they have snow there. I'm pretty sure they have it in large heaps, but I don't know, something about that state. I wouldn't mind visiting it in the summer. Maybe have
I imagine it'd be very pretty.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If final question here.
Okay.
If you have a choice, how long would it take you to respawn when you die? I love this question. It's one of my favorite questions.
It's a good question. It's a damn good question. I guess for me it's about, it's gonna sound weird. It's about me, but it's not so much about me in the sense that I would want to come back as soon as possible, just so that I could keep doing the things that I'm doing. And that's it's for me, but it's not so much for me because the things that I do, I hope, you know, make people laugh and make people smile and that kind of stuff. And
and they're not about you.
Yeah,
they're not about benefiting you.
Yeah,
they're not about.
It's not like I want to come back because, like, man, if I came back in 100 years, all that money I had in the bank would be like skyrocket. You know, it's like,
yeah.
I want to come. I'd want to come back as soon as possible because I know that the faster I come back, the faster I can make the next person laugh, and I can make, you know, if I got hit by a car or something, I could spring right up and be like, oh my god, like, where'd that deer come from, or something stupid like that to like get the driver to laugh, and then question my mortality. But you know,
give some poor soul a heart attack.
Yeah, somebody else dies because like they just hit me with a car, and then I just spring up like, whoa, that was weird. But,
did I just get hit by a mosquito?
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about rounds out our show here. I want to thank my special guest, Conner, for coming on the show. Thank you so much, man.
No problem.
You've been fantastic.
It was awesome.
Plug away, sir. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at SamuraiCorndog. If you have a Rooster Teeth account, you can find me there. My name is just Conner.
YouTube.com/Conner the
Corndog of humor. Yeah.
Corndog the humor.
Yeah.
Conner the humor.
But yeah, any of those places, you could definitely hit me up on Twitter if you'd like. I usually
carry pigeon. Do you accept carry pigeon?
Yeah, I do. I do actually.
Noted.
Yeah. Messenger bag, just the bag. Send me that.
No. You have to have Joseph Gordon-Levitt delivered on a bike.
You're right.
That's kind of an imperative.
You're right. Yeah.
And so, my name is Tim Leftwich. You've been watching this on youtube.com/Tim Leftwich. You can now find the audio version of this episode, as well as all of the other interviews that I've done on soundcloud.com/Tim Leftwich. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. So now that that's done, you want to touch butts?
Yes, absolutely, I do.
All right.